Hello, my beautiful and lovely people, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan, and today we are filming a little chit chat. Get ready with me. I posted over on my Instagram that if you had any questions or there were any topics you guys wanted to talk about, to comment or answer the little question box. My Instagram is probably not the best, but that's one of my goals this year. I'm going to be working on that a little bit. A little bit about me. I am 25. I live and work in New York City. I spend pretty much all my PTO time at Disney World. I just love it so much. And today I'm getting ready for a friend's birthday brunch. So we're gonna be chatting. I brought over like all of my makeup into my bedroom just that I would change it up a little bit. And I also got myself a nice little iced coffee to set the mood. I also haven't had any coffee yet this morning, and I definitely need some if I'm going to make it through this bottomless brunch. But yeah, I'm really excited. So hold on a second. Let me take a little sip. So I went on Pinterest to kind of like get a little bit of inspo for my makeup. I used to be really into makeup, not as much anymore, but I thought today I would maybe do a little bit more than my normal routine. You guys have seen my normal routine like more than once. I will be using some of the same products. I'm going to try to switch it up, but also I have lost all of my tan from the summer already, so I'm really not really sure what color foundation to use or concealer or any of that, so we'll be kind of figuring that out together. And I brought in my ring light so that I can see what I'm doing. So let's actually jump into the question. So I'm gonna go in no particular order. I'm literally just gonna open up my Instagram. I also posted it over on my Facebook in the community tab, which was really nice because I have never done that before. First question is, how is your foot? Now, thank you, Jessie, for asking me. And my foot is doing so much better. I feel a lot better, and I am happy that next week it's my brother's wedding, and I'm going to hopefully be walking down the aisle without the boot on. Now, I have taken it off to like walk around the apartment a little bit and just to kind of get my foot like moving a little, but I've definitely realized, especially living in New York City, walking extensively is not the most comfortable, and my foot gets a little bit sore, but it's definitely making progress. So thank you for asking. I am doing much better. Now, I just put on some primer. This is the e.l.f. hydrating primer, and I think I used it like once or twice and I lost the cap, but I'm putting on some primer today because it's gross out, and I'm hoping that this makeup stays. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm probably using products that shouldn't even be used together, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna let that sit for a second and ask the next question, which is, do you multi-pass or do you like Genie Plus every... Sorry, I thought somebody was knocking on my door. Okay, do you use multi-pass or Genie Plus every trip or every park? So yes, every trip. No, for every park or every day. It really depends. So before the change, when it was Genie Plus, and we were able to decide day of, there were days we'd planned to use it and then we had changed our minds, or on days when we go to Animal Kingdom, we maybe wouldn't buy it and we would end up just doing the like individual lightning lane for Pandora, or if we went, Flight of Passage, and sometimes if we had gone to a park more than once and we didn't feel we needed it, we wouldn't buy it. Now, I've only gone on one trip with the new system, and the new system, you obviously have to book everything and pay up front a week in advance. So that flexibility of deciding day of whether you want to do it anymore, it's still there, but you're not going to get your bang for your buck if you do it the day of. That's just the reality of the situation. Sorry if you can hear the honking. So when I went with Catherine in August, we ended up doing it every single day, and I bought us lightning lanes for every single park and every single individual lightning lane literally possible except for Mine Train. So it was definitely expensive and a lot up front, this coming trip, we're going to do it for some of the days, not all of the days, especially since on my birthday we have a little fun something extra planned. But I do usually do it, and I recommend doing it because now that it's something that you can pay for up front, I think you can budget for it a little bit better, and you get to like see the options of whether or not, like what rides are available before you pay. So if you are able to kind of set a goal of savings, I would definitely recommend doing it. But again, I have fun with and without the pass. It's just whether or not I want to wait on lines or if I'm going to spend my time doing things like shows or less popular attractions. All right, that was a long answer to the question. So I'm trying to figure out face-wise what I want to do. So I have the e.l.f. Halo Glow filters. I use a decent amount of e.l.f. products. Now this one is in the shade light medium. I guess I'm gonna try this. I think it's a little too pink for my skin, but I'm just gonna do a little bit and kind of use this not as like a foundation, but as, yeah, I think that's like probably not the right color, but that's okay. We're just gonna blend it in a little bit. We love the chaos. If it was not chaotic, it wouldn't be authentic, and it wouldn't be as fun, and it wouldn't be me. So I think once I'm blending this in a little bit, it looks better. I'm not a huge fan of foundation. I also, if you guys have not noticed, I have a lot of freckles and beauty marks, which I think sometimes is hard to see on the camera, but one day maybe I can pop up a photo in here. My skin has a lot of like tiny little freckles. I have freckles here, 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 here. Like I literally am covered in freckles, and I don't like to completely hide all of them. I like them to show through my makeup, or else I feel like maybe I'm wearing too much. So yeah. Also right now I have a little bit of a unibrow. I've been growing out my eyebrows as much as possible because I want to do them right before my brother's wedding, and I have also only gotten my eyebrows done twice in the past like 7 or 8 years because I had a really bad experience, so I usually end up tweezing them myself. Now I'm gonna start going in with some concealer. I think I'm gonna do the Maybelline Magic Eraser, or that's a cleaning product, not the Magic Eraser, the Instant Age Rewind Eraser. And this is in the shade 110. And then I'm also gonna do a little bit of the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the color Medium Sand. So we're gonna start concealing things up. But next question, my aunt is texting me for my pajama size. We do matching PJs for Christmas, so I love that. And the ages range from 5 years old to 28, and we're all cousins. We all wear matching pajamas. I get really sidetracked. I'm sorry. Let's actually answer questions. Okay. Which rides do you recommend the most for first-time Disney goers? That's a really great question. I think that if you're a first-time Disney goer, there's a few different things that I would hit up if it was my first time. I would, one, make a list of all the nostalgic rides that you want to go on, because as we have seen from D23 and over the past couple of years, they take things out. Like Great American Movie Ride was my favorite ride. Like I loved it. I loved the experience, and it's gone. I love Mickey and Minnie's, but I'm not going to be able to ride that again. So if you're going to Disney for your first time, maybe think of some of the more nostalgic rides that you want to make sure that you get on just in case anything changes in the park. So yeah, Peter Pan is a super popular one, but Winnie the Pooh, it might be old and it may not be the most up to date, but it's so cute. Or I love the Carousel of Progress and the People Mover, and they are just a little bit more nostalgic. And another thing that I would recommend is I don't know if you've been to other parks, but like maybe prioritize the rides that you don't have at Disneyland. Say you normally go to Disneyland, rides that aren't there. And then also find out what your group likes to do, and don't be afraid to split up the group if you need to. So I love thrill rides, so do some of my cousins, but then there's also some other family members who get motion sickness and can't go on certain rides. So really, honestly, I would recommend all of the rides for a first-time goer, which seems really daunting, but I think something that you should do is kind of make a priorities list, maybe separate thrill rides and nostalgic rides, and put your top like 3 underneath each one and kind of go from there and do it for each park, and maybe aim to ride 6 rides per park. Because then if you're there from open to close, say you ride 1 ride an hour, plus you have time to eat and lunch and possibly dinner. So that's kind of like what I would do. It can be super overwhelming, and I really understand that, which is why Genie Plus is great. Not Genie Plus, the Multipass is great. But yeah, I think that there's certain things that some people might recommend skipping, but you're never going to know if you like it and if you enjoy it unless you ride it. So do your research. Do your research and figure out what you like. Maybe get some other people's opinions. But at the end of the day, make the decisions that make the most sense to you and your group. And just have a lot of fun, because no matter what, you can't pick the wrong thing. Okay. I think I want to go in with a little bit more concealer because I wanted a little bit more of a highlight, and I feel like I'm not really getting it. So I'm going to go in with my True Match. This is not called True Match. This is the Fit Me concealer. Guys, I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay. While that sits, I'm going to put some contour on, and I'm going to use the Halo Glow Beauty Wand contour. And this is in the shade, it just says contour, so I don't know what that means, but the shade it's in. And I'm just going to dot this on my face. I used to be into a lot more high-end makeup when I was younger, and I just, nowadays I'm like, I don't have the money to spend on this, but it's fine. Sometimes the drugstore products are better, so it's okay. All right, next question. My phone doesn't recognize me with this on my face like this. Did you ever consider the DCP growing up? I love this question. Yes and no. So what I mean by that is I didn't really know the Disney College program ever existed until I was in college. I guess I just never really thought about it and never really recognized it. And this kind of will go hand in hand with the other question, which was where did I go to school? So I went to school, I don't even know how to, but let me start over. So when I was applying to schools, there was a college out in California called Chapman, and I really, really wanted to go there. I had a film school. I was going to do, I wanted to be in, advertising and marketing for movies and films and in Hollywood. That's what I wanted to do. And I thought I didn't get in. I had accepted to University of Florida, and I had missed the email saying that I had gotten into the school because they didn't send a package or anything. It just was an email, and it went to my spam. I have no idea what's happening right now. So I then accepted, and I went out to school there, and I had some personal things that happened at home, and in conjunction with that, I wasn't really loving the school itself. The classes were great, but the social life and being so far away from my family, especially since I am a big family person, just wasn't the right decision for me. So I ended up transferring, and I went to Fordham University, which is located here in New York City. They have a campus in the Bronx, and then they also have a campus in Lincoln Center in Manhattan. And when I first transferred to Fordham, I thought I had made a big mistake. I didn't do a lot of research onto the schools. I was like, this is not the right place for me to be, and I was upset. And that's kind of when I noticed that there's something called the Disney College program. I had no idea that that was a thing. So then when I saw it and I started watching people's YouTube videos of them at the DCP, it was something that I started to become really interested in. But then after like reading up more on it, and I had already moved around with my schools and everything, it ultimately like just wasn't something that I wanted to do anymore. And the thought of it was super fun, and like maybe in another life it would have been awesome to be able to do that, but I didn't. And do I regret it? No. I always say that sometimes I wish I didn't go to the school that I went to, but I wouldn't have reconnected with a old friend, and I wouldn't have met my boyfriend, and he's like such a big part of my life. So I am a believer that like everything happens for a reason. So to answer the question, at one point I did kind of consider it, but it was a little too late to the game. And then I went to the other question, Fordham. That's where I went to school. Now I am going to set my under eyes. How's it looking, guys? Is it looking good? I don't know. I am getting ready early. Like, I obviously have already started getting ready, but it's not even 12 o'clock, and I don't have to leave here until like 1:30, but when I'm talking, I get distracted, and it takes me longer to do my makeup. Typically, I do it relatively quickly, but I also wanted to do a little bit extra. I'm just using a powder puff, and I'm using the Travel Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I feel like this looks a little bit matte. I mean, maybe not on camera, but in person, it looks a little matte, and I'm definitely, if you guys have not noticed, a glowy girl. I definitely like glowy. Why can't I find... Oh, I found it. I'm definitely more of a glowy makeup girly, but before I set the rest of my face, I'm gonna do a little bit of liquid blush. This is pigmented, and you have to be careful with it. So let's hope I don't put too much on. Alrighty, next question. What is your favorite month? My favorite month is October or December. What is on my Disney bucket list? And I'm gonna group this in with another question, which was, I can't find the question, but it was like, what other Disney parks have you gone to, or like what would you want to go to? Because these kind of overlap. So what Disney parks have I been to? I at one point lived in California. I've actually lived in California 2 times in my life, and when I lived there, I actually had an annual pass, and one of the times we even had an annual pass that was the dual, and it was like called like the Magic Key, and oh my gosh, yeah, I think I put too much on, and it was an annual pass for Disney World and Disneyland, which was like super cool. But what was I saying? I don't even have like a brush to like pat this in. I guess I'm gonna use my finger. So I've been to Disneyland and like Disney California Adventure. I would love to one day go to all of the Disney parks. That's definitely on my list. Another bucket list item, I would like to do a behind the scenes tour. I'm not really sure which one. And then I would like to do the Wild Africa trek in Animal Kingdom. I'd like to see Cirque du Soleil. I would like to stay at the new Polynesian Tower. I definitely have a lot of bucket list items, but for right now, I'm just happy to be going, even if I'm not really crossing off any of the bucket list items. I did not prepare for these questions by any means, so you're getting the raw, off the rip responses. Another question: what is my favorite product to slick my hair back? So I use the like dupe for the bed head, and it comes in like a little stick form like this, and that's what I've been using for years. Sometimes I just use a little water and hairspray. It really depends. And I have thought about purchasing the Day product, but I also just don't really care enough to buy another product when what I have works well enough for me. The blush is blushing, so we're gonna do a little bit of, oh, by the way, I used the Red Vino color from Milani blushes. These things are pigmented, which probably wasn't the best idea in putting it over the liquid blush, but that's fine. Do a little bit of powder bronzer. I'm gonna use this Real Techniques brush and this bronzing powder from MAC. This is old, it's in the color golden, and it's basically empty. Are there any non-DVC resorts you would like to stay at or have stayed at and loved? So I've actually, I think I've mentioned this in maybe one of my other Q&As, but I've never stayed at a non-DVC resort that I can remember. I may have when I was younger, but I, in my head, like, don't remember it. I honestly, like, wouldn't mind, and, like, would love to stay at the French Quarter. I've heard, like, really great things about it, and it looks beautiful, so I would love to give that a shot. I think that we are resort people, so I don't think that the value resorts would really make sense to us, because we do like to prioritize having quiet time at the pools and being in locations close to signature dining and restaurants. So I don't think that we would ever stay at one of those, but I think the French Quarter is definitely the one that's on my list. I have stayed at a few hotels that I've booked on Hotwire, and I've only been there for a night, but there's the one, the Wyndham Lake Buena Vista, and it has like I'm pretty sure it has like a lazy river, and they had a character breakfast. Like, they had all the things that you would want, and it wasn't very expensive, and I was able to book it literally a week before my trip. I only stayed for one night, but we've done it a few times. Like, if I had to recommend a place to stay to somebody who was looking for a non-Disney or a non-DVC resort, I would say that that is totally awesome and honestly has everything that you would probably want or need. This side looks better than this side. I'm gonna just blend that in a little. Okay. I feel like the bronzer's not like bronzing underneath. I'm gonna turn this ring light off and look at my face, and I'm gonna look like a clown. Next question. Someone asked me again, what do I do for work? I am a project manager that manages like EGD, which is environmental and graphic design installations and projects. It's a little bit niche and a little bit hard to explain, but yeah, that's what I do for work. Which coffee drink do you recommend? The Viking coffee or the Cocoa Puff coffee from Galaxy's Edge? So, the Cocoa Puff coffee. I don't know why I forgot the word coffee. The Cocoa Puff coffee, we tried for the first time when I was just there with Catherine, and it was all right. I honestly anticipated it being really sweet, so I was thrown off by that. That doesn't mean that it was bad because it wasn't sweet. I'm not a super sweet girl. I don't love a bunch of sugar and syrups. Like, I like a little bit of flavor, but I think that for something that has Cocoa Puffs and what is it, like condensed milk and whatever in it, it just wasn't very sweet. Versus the coffee that I got at Kusafari was the coconut one. That was sweeter. So I would recommend, if you want something that's a little bit sweeter, to try that. For me, it wasn't worth, either of them weren't worth it. I would much rather have had just like a giant coffee, Joffrey's cold brew. And then the other coffee, the Viking coffee, I love the Viking coffee. It is sweet, but I view it more as like my dessert than my actual coffee. And I tend to get it with the liquor in it, because to me, yeah, it's like a treat. Like, I would never drink regular coffee like that. It's more like an ice cream slushie to me. The closest thing, I don't know if you guys have ever had a mudslide. That's what it tastes like to me. It has like a slight chocolatey milkshake, icy flavor. Both are good, but they're completely different. So it really just depends on what you're feeling in terms of, do you want it iced? Do you want it like frozen? Do you want chocolate in it? Let's actually take a second to do my eyebrows. And I can give you guys another fun fact about my eyebrows while we do my eyebrows. So when I was in 7th grade, or going into 7th grade, yeah, right? correction, starting over. When I was going into 6th grade, I was at the beach club and we were playing ping pong, and I was trying to be cool and impress the boys, and then my younger brother was trying to be funny and impress the boys, and my younger brother picked me up from my feet and I fell face first into the ping pong table. I don't think I've shared this story before, but maybe I have. I fell face first into the ping pong table and I gashed my eyebrow open and had to get stitches. So you can see it here, that no hair grows there. So that is why sometimes I look a little funky in my videos, and that is why I like to fill my eyebrows in. I do have pretty full eyebrows, but I do like to fill them in. For my eyebrows, I'm just going to use the same Smashbox palette, this matte dark brown, and just going to fill it in a little bit. I have got my eyebrows laminated before, so the one time I got my eyebrows done in the past 3 years, I did get a lamination, and I have really large eyebrows already, so when I got the lamination, it was like, I don't even know, my eyebrows took like my whole forehead. How does this look? Sometimes I feel like they look really dark, but then once I put on mascara, I'll feel a little bit better about it. And then I'm just going to use my e.l.f. brow lift. My go-to day-to-day snack. Ooh, good question. It kind of changes. I usually go through periods of time where I have the same snack over and over again, but usually, especially for work, I like to have snacks that I can easily throw into my bag. So I would say I usually do like the small skinny pop bags and just throw them into my backpack. I do like popcorn, so that's usually an easy snack for me. Another snack, I do the applesauce pouches that children eat. I like applesauce, and I like the fact that it's in a convenient pouch and I can throw it in my backpack for work. And then the last one is a macro bar for something if I want a little bit more substance, but that's usually what my snacks look like. All right, I had to take a little bit of a break because my camera was starting to overheat. I am gonna take a little quick break from doing questions just so that I can start on my eyeshadow. I'm gonna try to like go for the vibes in that photo that I showed in the beginning. So I'm gonna use this Morphe palette that has all matte colors, and it looks like this. And just kind of start with a fluffy brush in a very light like brown color and just sweep that across my lid. So look how cute my little makeup brushes are. They have Disney characters on them. So next question was like, I don't know verbatim, going off memory. It was, do I like Disney movies as much as I like the parks? And yes, I do. I know that there's some people who are like, I only like Disney parks, I'm not a big Disney movie person. I am both. I love Disney movies. I think that it's why I also loved musicals and stuff so much. I love the music and the songs and all of the Disney films. I love Disney movies. I love Pixar movies. My boyfriend loves Pixar movies. We watch those together a lot. Whenever I am sick, like this has been since the Tinkerbell movies come out, but I watch all the Tinkerbell movies whenever I am not feeling well. I love the Tinkerbell movies. They just hold like a little place in my heart because I think that they were really big and popular when I was kind of in middle school, I think, right? So I love those movies. I love all of the princess. I love every movie. 9 times out of 10, if I am watching something, it is either a like crime, murder thing on Netflix, or I am watching something on Disney Plus, whether that is Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, princesses, any of the Disney classics. Usually what I'm watching, it's something on Disney Plus because I just love Disney movies so much. It helps bring the magic home. This look is like pretty simple, so I'm gonna close this and go in with my other palette. So now I'm gonna use this MAC palette. And it has a lot of warm, neutrally shades. And I'm gonna use, I think this one maybe, or this one, and put it on my lid. Next question is, have I always known I wanted to live in New York City? And I would say yes, because when you grow up in my area from Jersey, 9 times out of 10, whether you want to be in New York City or not, you end up here for a period of time. Even if you're not living here, you're definitely working here at some point. And I think that when I was younger, I had actually never seen Sex and the City. So this is pre-seeing that. I only started watching that when I was in college. And I always dreamed of, you know, moving to New York City and living with my best friend, Catherine, who you guys met in my last vlogs. And I just always knew that at some point I would be there. I grew up coming to the city a lot. I loved seeing Broadway shows and musicals. I actually modeled quite a bit when I was a kiddo. My mom and I would drive in for go-sees and stuff, and then eventually I was like, I don't feel like doing this anymore, so we stopped. But thank you, Mom, for letting me try to live out my dream as model. But yeah, I just kind of always knew that it was going to be a part of my life. It's not a part of my life in the way that I thought it would be, because I think I always assumed that I would be single and like going out and doing all this stuff, and my life is just not like that, and it's not a bad thing. I am really happy with where I am in life and how things turned out. And again, like I said before, everything happens for a reason. So while I'm not living this like Sex in the City lifestyle here in New York, I am living a lovely life anyway, and getting to spend time going to musicals and Broadway shows and going to really nice restaurants and eating really good food. Yeah, it's been great. So I've always known that I will be here at some point. I don't think we'll be here much longer, just because aside from it being close to work, I think that we've been here for a few years now. I don't need to stay forever, so we'll see what's next for us. Do I have any other trips or travel coming up other than this October's Disney trip? And yes, I do. I have 1 or 2 in the next couple of months that may or may not also be Disney. And then I am going up to Vermont for my brother's wedding, and I'm trying to plan the trip in the spring / like summer for Italy. And yeah, I think that we have been really enjoying going to Disney. I would love to travel more and go to new places. I have spent most of my childhood going to Disney and making that a really big part of my life, and I love Disney and I will always want to go, and I'm never going to stop going. But I would like to experience a little bit more and try some new things. So I think that's definitely, like, my partner and I would like to travel a few other places. This year we went to Aruba, and we also went to Costa Rica, which was awesome. But I would like to go somewhere that's not tropical and not an island. So I think that aside from my Italy trip that I'm trying to plan with my mom, my boyfriend and I would also like to go somewhere else. I honestly would like to go to Greece. We will see. We will see what happens next. All right, so I'm just taking this darker color and kind of underlining my eye a little bit and like bringing it up in the corner. I'm not really doing it as well as this picture is, but that's fine. It's okay. I'm gonna blend this out with a fluffy brush. I would leave it a little bit stronger if I was wearing fake eyelashes, but I don't have any eyelash glue, so we're just gonna be wearing mascara. But this is the look. I think that it might look a little much, but hopefully it dies down a little bit. I'm just gonna use some setting spray and going to let that sit for a minute and then put on my mascara. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know that I kind of was all over the place and just talking very randomly and freely about whatever. I probably said a lot that had nothing to do with the questions that you guys asked. I did my best to answer most of the questions. A lot of them were similar or repeats, or I like grouped them together. But I had a lot of fun. I love talking to you guys. That's why I really would like to be a little bit more active on Instagram. I think, believe it or not, if like my personal account, I don't post anything. I used to love Instagram so much, and now I just don't really share a lot on it. The last time I posted on my personal account was almost a year ago. But I would like to share a little bit more. I don't take a lot of photos. I don't love to take photos. Even sometimes in Disney, I don't take too many photos, but I want to get better at that because at the end of the day, it's for memories and it's just fun. So I'm going to be more active on Instagram, and I'm also really trying to get better at my YouTube schedule because I haven't had one. Now, like I said, I work and I'm in my last year of, I'm in my last year of grad school, so I don't always have the time to film, but I'm going to try my very best to get better at it because I like doing it. I do like doing it, and I should prioritize doing things that I like. So let's see. I think we are done. There we go. We are done with the look, and I hope it looks good. But again, like I said, thank you guys for watching so much. Think about subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And I will see you guys really soon. Bye.